like in South America, I saw in Thursday there was like 4 games was going on, and one of the important game was Uruguay versus Peru, because both teams are in the
Yeah.
contention, and Uruguay won the game. But I think there was a bit of controversy on the last minute of Peru kicked the ball. The keeper, it was not Muslera. I think he
Yeah.
went with the ball to the post, and it looked like crossed the line, but there was no
Goal
VAR,
line technology. Yeah.
VAR interruption or goal line
There weren't
technology.
any goal line technology actually in the
That
Conmebol.
is, I just don't get it. It is a World Cup, and this could cost Peru very badly. Right
Yeah.
now they have the next game, but still, it could
Uh,
cost them the World Cup
well,
place.
they are probably in five or six positions,
I think
like
still in the
along with.
fifth, because Chile got beaten by Brazil 4-0, and Colombia won against Bolivia 3-0.
Yeah.
And Luis Diaz was very good on that game. Uh, but I was focusing on more on the Uruguay. Uruguay looked way better than Tabares team,
Yeah.
especially on Dario
And
Nunes.
this team, yeah, this team actually is trying like getting a shape.
Yeah, there is
Uh,
a bit of identity and the
yeah.
young players being mixed, and now there is a bit of you could see there is a game plan and stuff like that, not just players throwing and you have a place on the team. So there's some exciting players, especially Manchester United players. Fans would know Facundo Pellistri. Pellistri is a very very
Yeah.
interesting player in the midfield. So there are some very good talents being promoted with the Uruguayan side.
Who do you think is favorite right now?
I think Uruguay
And
have already confirmed, and also Ecuador.
yeah,
Although Ecuador lost,
no, I think the first four position has been
fixed.
confirmed. Yeah.
So now everything
And
is in the hand of Peru. If they win, they got the fifth
how many
place.
matches left? Like one or two matches, right?
One game,
One game left. Oh
but
shit.
except Brazil and Argentina,
Yeah.
they
Peru,
they have the extra game.
but yeah, Peru will play. Uh, I guess at their home with wait, just a moment. Against Paraguay, and Paraguay is not in good form, and
No,
it doesn't matter for
Paraguay
them
did.
actually.
Paraguay did beat someone. I think Ecuador 3-1.
Yeah, but
So
it's still a home game, so I don't know.
so all they have to do is win. But then Colombia,
But
if they do, they can't.
Yeah, Ecuador is going to play against Argentina.
But yeah, I think for both teams it's kind of a practice game,
Yeah.
uh, not undermining Ecuador's hope.
Oh, sorry, Colombia will play with Venezuela. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Colombia, if Peru cannot win, Colombia wins, so
Mm.
Colombia goes into that playoff position. And also,
And
if Colombia doesn't win,
also
then there is
Chile.
Chile's
I don't
chance.
know Chile.
Chile is in
Yeah,
19 point. So
19. Yeah.
so if any
It's
drops
a
happens,
musical chair situation,
exactly.
but
But
it's still in Peru's hands.
Chile
You
was
know,
so bad against Brazil. I would not like to see them anywhere near that playoff position. They were
but they
so
don't
bad.
have players anymore. Like they used to have. Those players doesn't have any feet anymore. Like you can actually excuse one or two of them in the team, but even like Gary Medel is gone.
Yeah. Uh, Even players like Charles Arangis and Mauricio Isla and stuff like that. They have been playing for so long. It's they need a revamp for sure. But coming back to Colombia, Colombia did look very good actually, especially Luis Diaz.
Yeah,
I mean, when Luis Diaz is on the ball, there is always something happening. Cuadrado and Luis Diaz had very good link up. I think the team was pulled back by James Rodriguez whenever he had the ball and he tried to do too much on the middle. Um, if you,
but he lost the ball always. Like
yeah,
it's almost annoying
and
to
if you
see.
just release the ball to Luis Diaz
Yeah,
does this thing and had a beautiful goal against. The first one especially was a very good goal. And
Yeah.
then coming back to because Colombia, it's a very very crucial win for them because they haven't won for a long long time. Um, and yeah, so things have definitely going really well for Brazil uh, ever since Anthony and Rafinha were integrated, and now they have a lot more depth in terms of attacking team. Now I'm trying to see, Brazil is definitely going up and looking like a beautiful team all of a sudden, especially like last few months. But is it now that leaves them a little bit vulnerable, given that they still have Thiago Silva in the back line, and Casemiro is the only player to hold. Um, I do see there's a bit of hole in that team right now.
Also, Marquinhos is not playing that good actually.
Well, let's
He
say,
actually
let's put it that
remember
way. If
if you
Marquinhos is good, even it doesn't really make
yeah.
a huge difference.
Yeah, the thing is that like we talked about this probably during the Copa America last year. Um, we talked about like other how other teams in South America played against Brazil, which actually uh, is not ideal. I think I don't know like why they fear Brazil that much, because if it is because of the players or stuff like this, but it's not actually good for Brazil as well because they don't know how European teams is going to play,
I
and
saw a problem with Brazilian that team because that team was kind of more ultra conservative, and this team currently that is transformed after Anthony and Vinny
mm,
Junior coming into up there, which is exciting to see. Very very good looking team right now, but I still
yeah,
think there is a bit of problem.
yeah, that's what I'm going to bring actually because in a match against, for example, Belgium or England, um, you will need your wing back to attack, and they don't actually have that much from
No.
the wing back positions, and also that they are not like one on one
Well, Dani
being
Alves
one on
was on that team. Just 38 years old. He's the best right back of Brazil.
in Brazil. Yeah, that's kind of like we saw Dani Alves performing well when they have position in Barcelona,
But Dani
but
Alves is not defending. That's the other part.
yeah, that's the problem actually. He was actually, yeah, probably he scored a goal in one match and got a red card in
Atletico
in
Madrid.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Atletico game probably. Yeah,
But yeah, coming back to Brazil, I think it's and right now you can see a lot of wingers coming in. A lot of wingers, young
yeah.
wingers are coming in, and that's too much of them. Actually, they're very good players, but too much of them. Um, and what I noticed is Jesus, the number nine, or Bobby Firmino are not being
No, I think Neymar was number nine for that
yeah
match actually.
yeah.
So he's kinds of playing like a false nine position, and with he's dropping in and Paqueta going up, and this kinds of create a duo in between. And Fred is like sometime over make some sort of like a overlap with Paqueta sometimes, so that actually they can hold the ball in the middle. And with this winger Anthony and Vinicius with their dribbling power, and they were trying to create some sort of a overflow in the middle and then pass the balls through the center backs and uh,
But
other
again,
backs. So
coming back to that, Brazil looks very good. Let's see how they do against European team. That's the
yeah,
biggest.
but they need a how can I say, like a s- sometimes you need to let Neymar go, like
Or Coutinho go or Vinny Junior go. You have to because of the
no, no, no,
system.
no. I won't actually try to because they have to build this team around Vinny Junior or some other, or not Anthony, Vinny Junior right now actually, because Neymar is not that main guy anymore. Even if he
But for Brazil,
plays
he
with,
is actually. If you look at the
yeah, I know that, but the thing is that like uh, matches against those European teams with this compact defense, I don't think he is breaking it from through the middle. He couldn't actually break Real Madrid through the middle. Or that's a problem. this will be the problem. And he like when he
And
tries
Neymar
too
is
hard.
emotional player, very emotional.
Yeah, yeah, when he tries too hard, he actually misses too much. He only performs well when he was like at ease. So that's the problem. Like so you have to build this play around like around Vinny or Anthony, because they can actually get you go there, because you are not getting supports from your wing back. If you are playing with Dani Alves, you are not getting the
I
support.
actually agree.
If you are playing with how can I say, who is it with, uh, Silva, you are not getting the support. And who played in the left side?
Was it Lodi? I
Lodi?
can't remember. I
Yeah,
didn't. Probably not
he
Lodi.
did not actually play that much actually.
No.
But
After that
but
Copa America loss, he didn't play much.
yeah, but the thing is that, like, yeah, that's what I'm going to say next. Actually, Lodi played really well, especially in last 4 to 6 games with Atletico Madrid. And he is the one guy from defense who can actually make run and create some sort of overflow in the wings in the left. And Neymar is strong in the wing in the left, so but he's like really good in making those lob balls over the defense. So you have to play around Vini Junior,
Yeah.
not Neymar.
Okay. No, I think that's a fair analogy, and I think I agree. Certainly, mostly. Um, looking back at
But
that
they are playing way better than they were in Copa America. So
for sure, they're growing, and uh, the other giant is definitely Argentina. They had 3-0 win against Venezuela. You could argue that Venezuela is not the greatest team in
yeah,
South America, but still,
and this
it's 30 games unbeaten, right? So
yeah,
some kind of
21 win and 9 draw. Interesting thing is that, like, probably few hours ago, Goal.com published this article. Di Maria is not going to continue his national career, so this was his last match in Argentine soil.
yeah, it was kind
So
of fairly evident. He, I think a lot of people didn't even expect he would be around for this particular cycle as well. But yeah, he did, and he's been anything but magic or nothing, but mostly magic. That goal, second goal, was fantastic. Reminded of
yeah, it
this.
was unbelievable.
Reminded the goal
But he's
against Brazil in Copa America final, especially the pass from DePaul
yeah,
to him.
yeah, it's the same completely carbon copy of this
Yeah,
goal,
yeah,
almost.
yeah.
But the finishing was really better this time,
This time, yeah,
actually.
he had the time to set up and then lob it up,
Yeah,
and then obviously set up a goal for Messi as well. And Messi
yeah,
looked completely different player for Argentina than PSG.
yeah. Uh,
And
so yeah,
one
obviously
of the
because
reason it was basically we talked about a lot of one
mm,
twos and a lot of ball was given back to him.
yeah, it's a completely different role, because these guys from PSG is not, especially from the midfield, they are not that actually creative or anything. Like, they are not creating anything. So like they are mostly dependent on Neymar or
Messi
Messi to
to do.
create something, and Mbappe to finish. So like he's playing a little bit deeper role. So you cannot actually judge this player as numbers of goals, because he's more like a floating midfielder on the field, like a number 10, uh, mostly. So, but in Argentina, he's like a, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a
Sometimes he
false nine, or could be second striker.
Sometimes he's false nine, like exchanging positions with Di Maria, or sometimes he's winger, like a floating wingers, like a second striker or something like this. Or if Lautaro Martinez is playing, he's more like a
Number
number
10,
10 behind. So he knows his role, and this team is not like depending on
Messi.
Messi anymore. And like Messi scored the last goal. Before that, actually, there were chances. Like
Yeah, he created a lot of chances. I really hope Joaquin
yeah,
Correa missed at least three or four.
yeah.
But
Also, Di Maria could have actually got some sort of like a key passes, but yeah, forward as a forward, you are allowed to try and miss those sort of stuff.
But
So,
in terms of team, there's definitely some kind of hope, given that a lot of players were missing for this particular tie. Players like Lo Celso, Emi Martinez, Lautaro Martinez.
Lanzini is not there, also, I guess.
Well,
Guido Rodriguez.
well, I'm not talking about the players that is really reserved. I'm talking about the players that are really starting, like Coutinho,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
like Christian Romero was missing. There was your number one keeper was missing. Uh, and also there was a rumor of Lisandro Martinez could be replaced when he was injured as well. So Guido actually played the game. He
Mm.
came on as a substitute for Paredes, and Lanzini is in the team definitely. He's in the team because they're missing a lot of players because Emi Buendia and Lo Celso and also Christian Romero and Emi Martinez are suspended.
I think they called some young players like from the youth team or something like this from Manchester or some other
United,
clubs.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think they were playing in under 20 game the next day under Javier Mascherano, who made his debut as
Oh, okay.
a Argentine under 20 coach, and that game was drawn
Oh, that should
against.
be nice actually.
Yeah, that I think Messi, Otamendi, Di Maria, not Otamendi, Di Maria, Messi, Rodrigo Di Paul, and another, I think Lucas Ocampos was present on that game, just looking at to support Mascherano's debut, and
Oh, nice.
I just saw a bit of glance. It was 2-2 because a lot of players playing for the first time. They're Carboni brothers. Both Carboni brothers could have played for Italy. I think they, they're playing for this team. I think someone's son. I think it was Paz. Someone's Paz is the last name. His father used to play for Argentina in World Cup in 1998,
Yeah.
and he's playing there also. Luca Romero of Lazio got some minutes as well.
Who's that Manchester United player?
Garancho or
Uh,
something.
Garancho, yeah.
Yeah,
Griezmann?
Alejandro.
Garancho, yeah.
Yeah, and then Matias Sole of Juventus. But yeah, there are some interesting names, and it would be interesting to see if how they, because they're right now playing on the age level group in Argentina, and
Yeah, but it would be interesting to bring them in, like at least one or two of these players in the national team level because, like, players like I, Lo Celso is a little bit older, I guess, like
no,
26.
it's not really. Is it 25 or 26? Isn't it?
Yeah,
We're
26.
talking
Yeah,
about the Giovanni Lo Celso, not the other Lo Celso.
yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
his brother
But
who plays for
no,
Newell's.
uh, no, I was saying like it would be better for them to prepare for the next gen,
I
like
think there is al
20,
I think there
20,
is already
20.
players. Say Ezequiel Palacios is 23,
Yeah,
24. Nico
so yeah,
Dominguez is 23, 24. There are other players such as I'm fairly sure they're building on that.
yeah. So like I would say like these players should get a little bit more chance given that like they already qualified for the World Cup. And yeah, last World Cup, if you remember, like just before the last World Cup, um I guess they actually confirmed the qualification in the last moment or something like this.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, there were some performances of Lionel Messi, and he was really performing well when Lanzini were playing there. um, so when Lanzini went out of the World Cup just before the World Cup because of injury, and there weren't any sort of like a creative
Yeah.
output from the midfield trio. So Messi had to dug deep, and
No, that
he
team
did
was
not
horrible.
actually.
That team was horrible,
Yeah,
and that team. I mean, it was Sampaoli's. So it was disaster, definitely. I totally agree. And there was Lo Celso was on the bench. He could have used.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he actually did came on in the first or second match, and he performed well, and
Lo
he
Celso
did not
never,
actually
never, never really played any minute in World Cup.
really.
He was set out entire.
Then who
I
actually
think
played?
played. It was Dybala for 10 minutes against Croatia.
No, no, no. In the midfield, someone actually played
Big,
because
big,
Mascherano was playing in
Biglia,
the.
Biglia and Mascherano.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Biglia, Mascherano, and you had that Di Maria and Messi.
Banega was playing. Yeah,
And
I remember.
Banega came for Nigeria game.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's the thing. Like that generation actually gave it all in 2014.
Yeah, and there should have been a lot more transition, and that's why I think Tata Martino could have been point, blame a lot for not transitioning a lot of players,
Yeah.
and and I think Tata Martino is doing the similar kind of job here in Mexico. Not a lot of Mexicans loving it, uh, but again, not to put my finger on Tata Martino, I have nothing
Well,
against him.
he's becoming sort of like a Latin American version of Rafael Benitez or something like this. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Mexico, I mean, I look at the current standing, they were the top team, and now they're not. So some blame has to go to the coach.
Yeah, there used to be like players coming on the pipeline always from Mexico,
It's
and
still
it's
coming in,
not.
but the problem is if you don't integrate them.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's that's the point because I haven't actually seen new names for a while, so that's the problem.
Yes. So yeah, just coming back to Argentina, I think the things they have a system and they could be hopeful. There is definitely a core bunch of players.
Yeah. Also, there so far I know that they are restructuring the club footballs as well, especially with monetizing and stuff like this. And there are some sort of like a new sponsors, like they are trying to catch some sponsors in the national league. So yeah, it was a problem in 2014, 15,
For
16 at the
sure. And
time actually.
I think one of the major problem was the administrative chaos, and right now it looks like
Yeah,
a little bit more settled under Tapia.
yeah,
So yeah, and a lot of interesting thing has happened, especially on the academy level and youth level. You know, there will be always youth players coming from Argentina or Brazil, but you need administration to do well on that.
true.
Anyway, it's getting awfully long. Is there anything else we want to talk?
I don't think so. We have some games coming on, but last question, like sort of like we are talking about national team, so you know what the question is.
I don't know.
You can kind of guessed it. Who is favorite in the World Cup or something?
I think it's still France
Yeah,
and Spanish team. It has to be because the way they're playing and most of the players from Barcelona. You know, Luis Enrique is still kind of similar kind of coach. Very vertical, very direct, and he has some charisma, I think, and understanding of football as well. So
well, Morata is still missing in the final third sometimes,
yes, but now definitely that's a weak
but
point.
Daniel Mo came in and got the tiebreaker goals.
No, no, that's fine. But what I'm saying is Spain has to be regarded as one of the one of the favorite of this World Cup, and then you have Hansi Flick and Germany. I mean, not a lot of people are taking notice on that. I think I liked last game of Portugal. If they go in, they has to be considered as one of the teams to not face. I think that team has some very good talent and very good positions. England is also good. I'm not saying they're top favorite, but they're very
Coming
good.
home.
They're good. I think it's not they're not going to win it, but then you add Brazil, Argentina on that conversation. Um, so yeah, you have your usual kind of favorite pool, which is fairly constant.
What what about Belgium or any sort of Dark Knight or something? Dark Horse.
I don't see Belgium as a dark horse anymore because Belgium is repetitively frustrating for a long, long time, and I don't see them doing well.
Well,
They might
yeah,
beat here and there, but they're not going to win it.
yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think this generation has anything to give anymore.
No, and also right now they couldn't do it on their prime. Right now it's almost in the end, like tail end
Yeah.
of their career. Right? I don't really see that, especially you look up the players. They really depend. Eden Hazard, what's he doing? I mean, potentially Kevin De Bruyne is only light on there, but then you have Lukaku and stuff like that who are not really consistent.
But any dark horse in the World Cup? So
I think African. I like Algeria if they go in. I like Algeria a lot. I think they could go and surprise few people. Still, that similar thing can be said. If Senegal goes or Egypt goes, um, um, I liked Japan the way they achieved things. I think there's definitely some style and pace in Japan.
well, new players are coming from Japan and playing in the Premier League and some tough leagues.
Yeah, exactly. And then Japan is always about refreshing the idea, and their work ethic is
Yeah.
so good. Not a lot of people would name them, but obviously they're one of them. And then you have Switzerland. I think not a lot of people take them seriously, but
Actually, they played really well against England uh, last match.
yes,
They could have actually,
I actually rate Switzerland higher than Netherlands at this point.
yeah. Oh
Nether-
no, they played against German and Denmark actually played against England.
and
Sorry.
yes, Denmark too is a very good team.
Yeah. And Christian Eriksen was back and he scored like in 2 minutes in the second half.
Yeah, what a
It was
beautiful
brilliant
sight!
to watch.
Beautiful
And he
sight.
actually hit the post once. So
I didn't see the game. I just saw the highlights. Yeah, it's hard.
no, it was a brilliant game actually. Lots of structural changes, and what I liked actually, Gareth Southgate actually gave chances to some guys like if you remember Gallagher from Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
He was playing so direct, like he was a number 10 for Crystal Palace, but he played like a number 8, and he was going direct, and he like put some sort of like a through balls to Harry Kane, and it was brilliant, like brilliant to watch because Kane did not have to actually went down to collect balls, and he was directly going on scoring because of Gallagher's and his extra running, and he was so energetic. And Henderson actually did not actually had to worry about him because he is like going up and could not come or something like this, because he was like going directly to the middle, and it's kind of scary, and they did not even play like Billingham, and these two players like could explode like really explosive midfield in the they could have actually have this midfield from both side of the pitch and attack with 5 players.
but that's we're talking about friendlies, right? We were kind of. I understand then it's England looking good in friendlies, but then in tournament that's a different
Yeah,
England you'll see.
yeah, that's what I am saying. Like, if they have a little bit strategy, uh, and if they manage, they have actually players to win the tournament right now.
Sorry, I don't agree. I think there are way more better teams out there, especially national team level. England has to be outside of top, at least top six. I don't really rate them in top five, and that's nothing to do with their annoying media or something. But I don't see them really doing well. I would rate them as same as Belgium, I know there's the
Uh,
playing style, their talents, their stuff, but something goes wrong when England goes on.
well, some yeah players like Foden or some other players, they are asking for someone, I don't know, like a little bit more aggressive. But I haven't actually seen any aggressive English coach ever in my life. I don't know if you have seen, but
Gary Neville springs out of that. Anyway, jokes aside, sorry, that was a bad joke. Apologies, Gary, if you're seeing it. Steven Gerrard could be a very good one.
well, he will going to be asked like, who is this guys?
Well, I was a
So
big
I
fan
don't
of
think so.
Gary Neville in right back
Yeah.
in his playing days, but yes. Anyways,
Yeah, Stevie Gerrard could be, because how Aston Villa is playing recently, it's quite aggressive.
yeah, I think that's the one legitimate name you have,
Yeah.
unless you bring back the great Sam.
No, no.
Okay, enough of this nonsense jokes. Do you want to add anything in terms of World Cup
Uh,
qualifiers?
Not really.
We
We'll
we can
see in the
definitely
next.
talk about
Yeah,
next week certain teams,
yeah.
and
We
stuff.
have time, so
So yeah, on that note, thank you for making time and speaking in your.
thanks for inviting. And if anyone is listening, like,
I don't think
please,
so. I don't think so. All the views are we keep watching each other's stuff. So yeah, that's not a bad thing. To waste our time, we don't have anything to do. We're
well,
jobless. On that note, we are wrapping it up.